Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for today's webinar. This is Anne Rude with XMedius. We're going to be talking about Exchange unified messaging and some options that you may have if you're impacted by Microsoft's announcements where they're removing unified messaging from Exchange 2019 and changing it for the Office 365 offering. Anyway, with that, I'll let you know Terry Pyatt, one of our solutions architects, is going to be presenting the material. And before he gets us started, I'll just let you know we're recording and we will make these slides available to you. So when I send out the follow-up email within a day or so, probably tomorrow, we'll get you the links to those. And we have plenty of time for questions. This webinar runs something like 20 to 30 minutes. So if you'd like to put your questions in, you can do that at any time, and we'll, of course, let you know when we get to the end of the slides when we're ready for the questions. So with that, I will let Terry get us going.
Thank you so much, Anne. Yeah, as Anne said, my name is Terry Pyatt. I'm a solutions architect with XMedius, and today we're going to be discussing the Microsoft Unified Messaging changes to their Exchange Server 2019 and Office 365. First, a little bit about us. So XMedius, we've been in the business for over 35 years. We've been developing, business process automation, unified messaging, personal assistant, speech. Over those 35 years, we've just continued to add to the product. There's not really anything within the product that we've removed from it since the beginning. So all of the features that, we had in the beginning of those 35 years, still exist in the product today. And that just kind of speaks to the power of the platform itself. We understand big business, a lot of the verticals, the major verticals, we have a lot of the biggest customers in those verticals. So whether it's, airlines, railroads, public health, or even hospitals, we definitely have and have dealt with a lot of scenarios in each one of those verticals. To talk about the platform itself, so XM Connect platform is broken out into many different pieces, but all of these pieces exist within one server on the same platform. And the only exclusion to that would be fax. So whether it's, voicemail, unified messaging, mobility, personal assistant, all of those components or those features exist and reside on a single platform, exist within a single server itself. And then, of course, you can consume that however you'd like, be that on-premise or in the cloud. And then, of course, one of our biggest stories is our interoperability, whether that's, integrating with Microsoft, Skype for Business Exchange, whether that's, the ability to have SQL Server or dip into Oracle databases, et cetera. It's just our interoperability is one of the biggest stories that we have. We integrate with almost anything out there in the market as far as the UM is concerned. So let's talk about the Microsoft announcement. So, I'm sure this comes as no surprise to everybody that, Microsoft is retiring UM and Exchange Online. That happened just this last month. So, whether that's, the Exchange product, the Exchange Online product, they're just retiring that functionality completely. So it's kind of left people in a bad spot. A lot of customers have used Exchange whether that's online or on premise, and they're kind of left without any solution as to what they're going to do or how they're going to move forward. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about, and we'll take a look at some of that lost functionality here. So the most notable feature gaps between Exchange Online and the Exchange voicemail is going to be the no longer support for third-party PBXs. So what they had before is they had an SBC connection. So that SBC connection would allow to connect to a third-party PBX between Exchange Online, and the on-premise PBX. So they definitely dropped that. They didn't want to support those SBC connections anymore. So that's why they lost third-party PBX. And then, of course, PSTN dial and access, cloud voicemail has no option to dial a regular phone number. So it's just not available in that cloud voicemail offering. So And then, of course, play on phone to play messages, the ability to click and play and have your PSTN phone ring and play the message back to you. That was a feature that was used by a lot of customers. So when you open up, that voicemail message, just the ability to have that play on phone, to click that button, that was lost as well. And then there's other features as well. So like the private and protected voicemail, silence detection, sending a voice message to a group of users, etc. So, so that was a lot of the lost functionality that came, with Exchange to the cloud. And as we move forward, forgive me here. And as we move forward, we're going to talk about some of the things. The other biggest problem for customers is, they're not ready to move 100% to the cloud. There's a lot of businesses, a lot of customers that want to maintain that on-premise environment, or just aren't ready or cannot move parts of their organization to the cloud. And that's going to affect, what options that they have, to remedy some of these changes that have come from Microsoft. So what we're going to talk about now is the XM Connect options. So, XMedius helps meet your business's evolving Microsoft needs. We're going to protect your third-party PBX investment. We're going to deliver unified messaging to Exchange into Office 365. And what we're going to talk about now is, how we do that, how we protect your PBX investment, and how we deliver those messages. So, again, talking about the impact. So, Exchange Online, you want to keep using your on-premise PBX, whether that's an Avaya, a Cisco, an NEC, etc. Microsoft is essentially saying you will need to find a new solution. An Exchange server for connected to an on-premise PBX, and plan to upgrade to Exchange Server 2019 in the future. Again, of course, because they're removing that role in Exchange Server 2019, you will need to find a new solution. And then, of course, finally, Skype for Business Server, and want to continue to use on-premise. Again, you're going to need to find that new solution. So that's the impact. That's the people that are impacted, or the scenarios, or the environment, or the software that is impacted by the changes that we've discussed here so far. And so the Exchange Online deadline. So as we discussed, the deadline was February 2020. So it was last month. There have been a lot of customers who, weren't able to make a change that quickly, and so a lot of customers are still affected by the Exchange Online deadline, and some of them have lost that voicemail capability, and that's kind of where we step in to resolve a lot of those issues. So, if you use Exchange Online and you want to keep using your on-premise PBX, you'll need to find a new offering. We offer that offering. So, we're rated best of breed solution in the market itself. Like we said before, we've been doing this for 35 years. There's not a feature that we've removed. So, that's part of that best of breed solution. And then, of course, we integrate with leading phone systems simultaneously. We integrate with I think we're up to about 450 different PBXs now. We've never removed the PBX integration. And so, as more PBXs hit the market, and then, of course, as the existing ones are updated and advanced, we keep up with that. We keep up with the Avaya and Cisco, and make sure that, the latest releases of their software are compatible with ours as well. And then, of course, we minimize disruption, continued use of Outlook forms. So any of the Outlook forms that you're used to using today with Exchange are going to continue to work with the XM Connect product. So, we partner really close with Microsoft. And when we've developed, this Exchange Online delivery mechanism, we've made sure that, the Outlook form that everybody is used to is part of that solution as well. So when we deliver that voicemail to the inbox, we are igniting that Outlook form natively. And so you don't lose any functionality that you're used to there. And then, of course, you can leverage your existing audio codes gateway. So we do have, SBC support. So being able to integrate with an audio codes gateway, you don't need to purchase any additional hardware. You get to leverage the existing hardware that you already have. There is no investment required in Skype for Business, or Enterprise Voice. So if you do have a Skype for Business deployed in your environment, the requirement for Enterprise Voice isn't there. And then, of course, we can integrate directly into that audio codes without having to have any sort of Skype for Business server. And then, of course, enables a smooth transition from on-premise third-party PBX to Office 365 over time. So you can see, with all the different PBXs that we support, with that integration to Exchange whether that's on-premise or Office 365, you can see that there's a strategy or a story there to be said about, on-premise third-party PBX migrations, whether you're migrating on-premise to the cloud or maybe to different solutions in your on-prem organization. So moving on here, hopefully it hasn't frozen. There we go. So talking about and discussing, saying goodbye to within Exchange. So, Microsoft has really kind of pulled back on their on the delivery in Exchange. It was a big part of the Exchange server, Exchange 2016, etc. But they just decided, as things went on, as they developed teams, that they didn't want to include that portion in their Exchange product anymore. So, if you plan to upgrade to Exchange Server 2019, you're going to need to start figuring out, what you're going to do to replace that capability. And then, of course, as we talked about with Skype for Business, if you'd like to continue using on-premise, you'll need to find that as well. And so, we do not require a move to Microsoft Cloud Voicemail. So obviously, we are the voicemail solution in that regard. So you're not required to move to Cloud Voicemail. And then, of course, we deliver the capabilities into the Exchange and Office 365, regardless of the roadmap. And the way that we achieve that is we use a combination between either EWS or the Graph API. And so what we're doing is we're actually making calls to the Exchange server, using the EWS, using the Graph API, and we're actually creating a message and depositing that into a user's mailbox. And so that's why, regardless of the roadmap, the Exchange Web Services or the Graph API, is a fundamental part of the technology itself. So regardless on which way that Microsoft decides to go, because of the way that we deliver a message to the Exchange platform itself, we're compatible with that no matter what Microsoft decides to do. It's very common practice to use Graph API or EWS. And so therefore, we're very, very confident that, we can operate independently of Microsoft's roadmap. But again, we also align ourselves very closely and tightly with Microsoft. So of course, we support Office 365 and all of the major Exchange versions, Exchange 2019, 2016, 2013, 2010, and 2007. So again, as we discussed before, we integrate with the leading phone systems simultaneously. And then, of course, we also offer, secure messaging in Office 365 and Exchange with a cost-effective voicemail transcription service built in, like some customers are used to with that offer. Let me move forward here. So the XMedius alternative. So obviously we have cloud, we have Office 365. We work and play in that space as well. And then, of course, on-premise, whether that's Exchange Server 2019, the third-party PBX and Skype, we play with those situations very well as well. So no matter which way that you're trying to consume, your alternative, we're there and we're ready, and we have a solution that fits your needs. So the advantages of using XM Connect, you can continue using all of the products that you're used to using. So whether that's Exchange or Office 365, there's no need to change your email server. We're going to deliver that full unified messaging and the call processing support. And then, of course, if you're using, Skype for Business or traditional PBX, there's no need to change what you're doing or to invest into a new PBX, et cetera. So, and then, of course, continuing to use Skype for Business, you benefit from the full range of the XM Connect UC solutions. So whether that's, speech automated attendant, personal assistant, whether that's our informal call center, team queue, IVR data dips, or mobile clients, you're just adding to the feature capacity, of your environment when you're using XM Connect to facilitate the replacement of your UM. So of course, XM Connect protects your on-premise PBX, enables you to transition to Microsoft over time. We've touched on that topic. We've discussed how, because we integrate with everything, because we are not requiring you to purchase additional, PBX equipment or Exchange equipment. You can literally migrate, as slowly as you would like or as fast as you would like over time with the XMedius product, right? So you put us, you use us as your alternative, and then from there you can add PBXs, add Exchange servers, or different solutions. So customer proof points, we have over 100,000 Exchange Online seats replaced since Microsoft's announcement. As a solution architect, I've been involved in a lot of those replacements or a lot of those seats. And one of the biggest things that I've seen from customers is just that, they love the solution. They love being able to pick and choose when they would like to, implement a lot of these changes. When they're forced with a deadline, when customers are forced with a deadline, it often puts them in a bad decision because they're not able to move at their own pace. And that's just some of the power that, this platform offers, or this solution offers. It's just the ability for you to recapture and retake control of your timeline and how you would like to move with it. And then, of course, we have 1.2 million licenses sold. is a big part of our product. We've been doing it for a very long time. And as we discussed before, the largest airlines in the world, the largest utility companies, public health, and of course hospitals and private universities as well. So alignment with Microsoft, we've talked about this before. We are a Microsoft partner. We've been working very close with Microsoft. We developed that capability to open the Outlook forms natively. And then, of course, using the Graph APIs or EWS as we spoke about before. So we're very in line with Microsoft and what they're doing. And we're always measuring, the new products that are coming out to see how best, our solution or our product, fits with that. And how can we make it easier for customers that are using Microsoft products? How do we make it easier for them to have that solution? And so, we just work very tightly with Microsoft, as the silver partner to make sure and ensure that our customers get the best experience. And then, of course, the big takeaways here, obviously, we've hit all these topics very hard. Pressure from Microsoft to make a commitment to their entire Office 365 team suite. They really want you to move to the cloud. They want you to commit completely, and give them, whether that's, their cloud PBX offering or whether that's, Office 365, that's their push. They want everybody to move to cloud, and they're trying to detach, those third-party PBXs from that cloud offering. And then, it really comes down to, are you all in with Microsoft or not? A lot of customers are. But at the same point, it's like not everybody's ready to go completely Microsoft or completely cloud. It takes a lot to move environments, all the way one way or another. And I think we've discussed that pretty well. And then, of course, determine what technology you'll consume from the cloud in the near and long-term future. Just deciding, what it is, what works best for your organization, and kind of where you want to go. But no matter which way you do decide to go with it, XMedius has an offering there that can help you, solve any of the needs that you have. And then at this time, I think that kind of wraps it up. So now what we'll do is we'll spend the next 10 minutes or so. We'll open this up to any questions that there may be. So now would be the time.
Thanks, Terry. Yeah, there's you can put your questions in near the chat box. There's a Q&A box, or actually you could put it into either. There's a couple questions in here, Terry. The first one, and I think you actually covered this, but the question came in before. Any changes to user interface with the Exchange inbox?
Yeah, so we did touch on that a little bit. No, there is generally no user experience change with the inbox. We launched that Outlook form natively. We do offer our own form. So if there's, if you would like the XMedius branded form, we could offer that. But, we do have that ability to offer the default Outlook form.
Okay. Next question. Are you working with many of Microsoft clients who are moving from on-prem Exchange 2016 or previous to O365?
There has. It's actually funny that to bring that up because I've seen it go both ways. Actually, I've seen a lot of customers that are on Office 365 and because of some of their compliance issues or whatever, are actually bringing some stuff on premise. And then, of course, just like the question stated, there are a lot of customers that are going on-prem to Office 365. So it's actually really funny. The mix that we've seen has actually been a little bit of both, back and forth.
Thank you. Okay, so that actually wraps up the questions other than this one about getting the slides. So I will, when we send out a follow-up email, probably sometime tomorrow, we will include a link to where you can download these slides, as well as a link to this recording in case you'd like to review the content or forward it to a coworker. So we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thanks everyone for taking the time to join us. Thanks, Terry, for presenting. And have a great day, everyone.